Alrighty, here we go, everyone. Time for another Buoy 10 update. Today is August 8th, and wow, what a difference a day makes. No, I'm not talking about the weather. You can't probably tell right now, but yesterday it was 90 and sweaty and hot for the coast. Today it was about 20 plus degrees cooler and blowing wind and marine layer cold. Wow, but that's not what I'm talking about. You know, for the years that I've been doing this, I've been saying that these updates really can't help you all that much. And that can't be more true than what we saw happen here today. So I would have told you yesterday where to start this morning. I would have said shipwreck 100% from what I saw on the Washington side yesterday. There on the outgoing tide in the afternoon, there were a bunch of fish there. We caught plenty of fish there. First thing in the morning yesterday on that tide change, where it started rolling in, there were a bunch of fish caught over there at shipwreck. I'm like, got it. I'm in my rhythm. I had a good day yesterday. Here we go. Let's go rock it. Get out there, drop in, immediately go, this isn't right. The graph doesn't look right. The current's not moving the same direction. My speed over ground isn't correct. Oh, crap. Now what? So I'm looking around. I was like, well, maybe they'll still bite. Graph, nothing on the graph. Looking around at other boats, no one's catching anything. Now what? Well, I don't know. The fact that there were no fish there, the water temp was off, everything just was wrong. So I decided to run downriver and get below the bridge and try and hit those fish as they start rolling up with the tide. And I got down there and I started to slow down at Red Roof Church area. I was like, I'm just going to hold in right here. The water temp is right, so the fish should be here. And I picked up the phone because my morning plan was all screwed up. So at that point, I'm like, well, I need some help. So I called up a couple buddies and said, hey, what are you guys seeing? And the two guys I talked to, they're both like, yeah, we got 2 dead already. What? Yeah, I definitely made the wrong decision on where to start. And so ended up running all the way downriver and got there. The water temp dropped 5-6 degrees, and I think I missed it. So I got down there, I dropped in, saw maybe 1 or 2 nets, and it went, shoot. And then I got a phone call from another buddy saying, hey, get up here to Red Roof, we're catching fish. That's just the way it goes. Sometimes you chase cell phone bites and it burns you. I tried to stick it out as best I could on the Washington side, but the graph just didn't look good whatsoever. Today, if you've paid attention to these reports and keep track of the tides and look back over all of the videos that we've done, we do a full seminar on how to fish Buoy 10 and how to break it down. Tides are included in that. Today was typically a good tide to go fish Tongue Point. Now, I made a few phone calls and no one heard of anyone fishing up there, which word travels extremely fast down here. So if there's a good bite anywhere, people know about it within about 10 minutes. These little cell phones right here, they tell the story more than anything. So the fact that I didn't hear anything going on up there meant that there was no one up there. And I know it's early in the season. Typically, Tongue Point is better later on in the season. So I was just thinking, boy, this is a gamble. But there was nothing going on the Washington side. So I was like, screw it, let's do it. Reel them up, let's boogie. So we headed up to Tongue Point. It's like, I'm either going to be a hero or a zero. One of the two. We get to the red can, dump in, tide's still rolling in. I like it when the tide's rolling in. Those fish are flushing up into there. I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's find some fish. Let's get them on the deck, and let's put a whooping on them. And I made a pass all the way up to the green can, marked 0 fish. Oops, another mistake. And now I'm looking at my watch and going, it is after 12 o'clock, and all we've had was 1 fish. Wait a minute. No, we had 2 fish at that point. We got one that was wild, and then the second one, it got tangled up with another rod, and I had to hand line it in, got it all the way to the boat, and then Harbor Seal grabbed it over. Broke the line off, done. So we were struggling, to say the least, or I shouldn't say we, I was struggling. And it's 12 o'clock. It's like, well, the tide's flipping. It's starting to roll out. This tanker troll has been my saving grace so many times in years past. In the afternoon outgo, it's probably one of my favorite trolls, but last year didn't produce whatsoever, and we're guessing that was probably because of water temperature. It's like, well, I got nowhere else to be. There's nothing else I can do. And it ended up doing pretty good. We were getting probably 3-4 bites a pass and converting some. We lost a lot of fish today. Let some wilds go and still only kept one fish between the wilds, fish lost, missed bites, everything else. But it was an educational day. No matter what you think you got figured out down here, you're wrong. Don't ever forget that. Be humble, pay attention to what you're seeing, listen to other people, and just do the best that you can, make the right decision, and don't be afraid to leave. If you're in a spot and there's no fish being caught and you're there for a while, get out of there. Go up, go down, go left, go right, figure it out. Just don't be there, because obviously there isn't working. I also spent some time with my electronics today, and I found it really interesting. I'm using that active target from Lowrance. I got it up on my Minn Kota up front. And so when I spin the head of the Minn Kota around, I can actually look back and see all of my flashers. I can see them all flipping around, working. So it's really cool. I was making a pass through this one area, and I didn't mark hardly any fish. However, when looking back at my flashers, I could see several groups of fish come up into the spread and go around and look at each lure. And what that tells me is that even though I may not mark fish on my sonar looking straight down, there are still fish in the area. So it was a very good educational piece. And the second part of that, this goes back to Charlie White's video that I used to watch all the time when I was a kid, all the underwater footage that he had. Like 95% of fish that actually come up and nose up on your bait won't bite. They just don't. And that is exactly what I'm seeing with that active target. We can't tell you how many times fish come up and nose looking at it. I'm like, hey, watch that rod. Here we go. Here we go. And he's gone. He bailed. So it's good and bad, because it can frustrate you because you start thinking that you're using the wrong bait, the wrong scent, the wrong lure, the wrong color. But the reality is that 90+% of fish that look at your gear don't bite, unless we figure out a better mousetrap. I am going to try and mess around with some scents tomorrow and see if that helps. The great thing is that now that I have that, I can actually look at my gear and see how the fish react to each color, each scent, each speed change. When I speed up, slow down, let line out, pull the lure away from them, I can see how the fish reacts and adjust accordingly. So it's an excellent educational piece. And so for someone like me, who I'm constantly learning, and that's what I love about this sport, is that I'm learning every single day out there. This is a game changer for me, because I can just learn. And it's a new tool for me to learn in a totally new way. So that's been really cool to play with, and I'm kind of excited to go out there and go try some new stuff tomorrow to see if I can change that 95% of fish that don't bite to 94%. So I'll take 1 or 2 extra bites a day. Okay, I've been talking a little bit too much here. I try and keep these things usually around 2 to 5 minutes so I don't bore you guys, but we're already up to almost 10. So with that, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Keep your chin up and don't be afraid to move. And even though you might have a slow morning, you can always end on a high note. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Later.